What's up, everybody? Jimmy Faluca reporting with Frank. Frank, how's it going, buddy?
Right here.
Hope everybody,
Top Shop.
hope everyone's enjoyed the month of May so far. I know I have. My birthday was 5 days ago,
Happy birthday, James.
so now I'm 26. My fiance, Frank, I got to fill you in on this one. This is non-wrestling related.
Good.
My fiance really took me off guard on my birthday. She took me to the Star Wars exhibit in Times Square.
Oh yeah, I think I saw this guy. Toy.
I mean, this exhibit had everything. You know, if you're a fan of Star Wars, you love this shit. It was great. But before that, she took me to New York Costumes on 14th Street.
Oh, okay, I know where that is.
And I tried on the costume that I will be wearing to Comic-Con. And luckily, because I've been losing weight, I was able to fit into the standard, and I didn't need the extra large one. So I will be attending this year's Comic-Con as Darth Vader. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Do this.
Oh, yeah, even better. Hang on. I'll slide in my my other birthday gift that she gave me.
Oh man, you got a lightsaber.
Yeah, the Darth Vader one. It's pretty cool. Fiance, she spoils me rotten, Frank.
Cool.
Yeah, she, hey, you know what I always say to her, and I used to say to my parents, a long time ago, is now nobody bugs me with my hobbies. My hobbies are comic books, pro wrestling, and as you can tell by my books back there, Frank has been in my room many times, so he knows what all those books are. Personal research. My mentality is my hobbies are wrestling, research, comic books, and fantasy movies. At least it ain't drugs and alcohol.
That's good. Hey, listen, as long as you get an education, all that other stuff is okay.
I get more enjoyment out of everything other than wrestling. Wrestling, I have found that I have drawn zero enjoyment out of wrestling. And it's because, and one of the reasons is because of the topic we're going to discuss. But before we get into the topic, there was something I wanted to bring up. There's another podcast out there, and I'm not going to mention names because I'm not giving them viewers. One of the guys on that show was saying, I can't stand all the hate that Reigns is getting. Everyone's so focused on him. There are other aspects of the show. Why do you only focus on him? And my response that got me blocked was, and I quote, the main focus should always be the champion, the world heavyweight champion. Yes, he shouldn't be the only focus, but he is the prime focus. And if you don't care who holds the world title, you're part of the problem.
Well, the problem with that is, what did he say again? Everybody should focus.
He said wrestling fans should just enjoy the show for exactly what it is and not focus on one negative. Even though that one negative is the guy.
Or one person, he means.
Yeah.
Well, what he fails to see is that the show revolves around him and the company revolves around that guy. Eventually, all the people that people enjoy who will get to face him
just get fed to him.
Will get fed to him, and at the end of the night and at the end of every show, it'll be about that person. And right now, it's Reigns. It used to be Cena. So they don't give two flying shits about anybody else on the roster except the top guy.
The topic we're about to discuss proves all of that. Now, there's a topic that's been bugging me, and I'm going to mention a few names from the page. This is nothing derogatory, so I mean no disrespect to any of the guys on the page. This is just me and Frank answering you guys on some of the things that we've discussed. Joe C., Jameis, Durst, all you guys. We got no problem with you. If anything, like Henry has said many times, I enjoy the spirited debate. I enjoy the spirited conversation because it keeps my creative juices flowing and it keeps me sharp. But one of the things you guys fail to understand, the booking that this company has put out has hurt so many guys. I mean, Frank, WrestleMania 32, financially, they did well. But in terms of storylines,
could they have done better?
Absolutely, they could have done better. Financially, of course, they could have done better. But in terms of storylines being progressing, in terms of characters being better off, WrestleMania 32 was an abysmal failure.
It was the shits.
Yes, it was. You know, and I'm going to steal this from my friend Rich that I work with. Rich, shout out to you. He said to me today at work, he said, you know WrestleMania is bad when the silver lining in that show is the women's match.
Oh, my God.
And the women's match was very good. At least to me it was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but with all due respect,
it's not the best matches they've put on.
WrestleMania be about the women's match.
No, it shouldn't be all about the women's match. And I'm not saying it was all about the women's match. What I'm saying is that was the only match on the card that actually the story made sense and it was a good match.
Are you gonna go 5 years from now? You're gonna go on the network and review the women's match from WrestleMania 32?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so thank you, sir.
You know what I mean? I mean, Frank, I remember times when WrestleMania would happen, I would tape that shit and I would watch it over and over.
There has to be moments and matches from WrestleMania that you will watch forever.
There's nothing from WrestleMania 32 that I would want to watch again.
You could go back right now and you could watch the first WrestleMania with the tag team match with Mr. T and Hulk Hogan.
Mr. Wonderful and Roddy Piper. You could watch WrestleMania 10 years later. You could watch Brett and Owen. You could watch Shawn and Razor Ramon in the ladder match. You could go to WrestleMania 20 where The Undertaker revitalized himself as the Dead Man.
Right.
You could watch a great triple threat match where Chris Benoit won the world title. You could go to WrestleMania 30 and watch Daniel Bryan win the title.
WrestleMania is supposed to have epic, immortal moments.
And think about this. The epic moment to WrestleMania for this year to them is going to be Shane jumping off the cage, Austin Foley and Shawn Michaels coming out, and Roman Reigns beating Triple H. Did those moments amount to anything?
Those three guys, that was just a novelty, just an appearance. It means nothing. The Shane it was just a high spot. Everybody saw it coming. It's a stunt, basically not taking anything away from him. And the main event,
not taking anything away from him.
And the main event was one epic fail. It is. That was supposed to be Roman Reigns' crowning moment, and he got.
And it was no crowning moment at all. He walked away with the belt, but the crowd let him know exactly what they thought of him.
And just like the smarks and the internet fans have said it before and after, that would happen.
Funny, we get all these labels, Frank.
You know what? Maybe you should have just not watched the match, because if you don't like it, just don't watch it and not focus on Roman Reigns in the main event.
Yeah. Don't focus on the World Heavyweight title match, because
stop focusing on that, James.
It's just the world title. It's only the most coveted title in the company.
There's a little bit for something for everybody. So maybe if you like Kalisto in the pre-show, you watch that and then you just shut it off, and then you enjoyed it. It's great.
This is what I think Vince McMahon needs to get right through his fucking stomach.
It's not him. It's a bunch of people. I'm starting to think it's not just him.
Well, you want to know the truth of the matter, Frank, and I say this all the time. The buck stops with Vince. He's got to at the end of the day, he's got to okay these things.
Yeah, but he's surrounded by a lot of people that he pays a lot of money to, and he takes their advice, and he can't. Sometimes put yourself in issues. Would you want to say no every time to somebody?
If I know it's bad, listen to me. I'll put you this way. If my friend Christian every day tells me, Jimmy, pick up a gun and blow your brains out, I'm not going to get tired saying no to him every time.
Okay, but then he's not going to be your friend anymore.
Oh, no. So because I won't blow my brains out, he won't.
No, because he's not a smart person, and he's always going to give you bad advice every day.
Then it's called, guess what? If I'm Vince and someone's going to continuously give me bad ideas, I then replace them with someone that's going to give me good ideas.
Right. But I'm saying
he's not going to fire his daughter.
Right.
But let's get to the topic at hand. Okay. Frank, you have mentioned several times on this show, that from 2009 to the beginning of 2011, WWE had to run with guys like Orton, had to run with guys like Cena, because they really didn't have
nobody else, really.
But once 2011 hit, that excuse went out the window. Why is that?
CM Punk emerged. You know, he broke through.
I'm sure he wasn't the only one.
Well, I'm just saying it was. I'm just saying it was him. He reignited the interest in the show. Now they were given the opportunity to go in a different direction, and it appeared they did. But did they?
Absolutely not. They didn't.
Because who did the show still revolve around at the end of the night?
Who else?
Okay, so there you go. So they didn't go in a different direction. They just repackaged. They gave you the same hamburger with a different wrap.
Now think about this, Frank. For many years, we were told, "Oh, if you guys want Cena to go away, the ratings got to go down." The ratings went down. He still didn't go away. Oh, if you want Cena to go away, someone's got to outsell him in merchandise. Somebody outsold him in merchandise, and he still didn't go away.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point in time, there's got to be some sort of stopping ground, and I don't understand how you could say those things, have them happen, and then just completely ignore it. It just, to me, just doesn't make any sense.
What is it now? The ratings don't matter. Merchandise doesn't matter.
The fans' reaction doesn't matter.
The fans' reaction doesn't matter. And now, if you saw over the weekend, actual fans in attendance don't matter. With that house show, did you see that house, that half-empty house, the empty house show?
I did see that half-empty house show that Roman Reigns was closing.
Yeah,
and it's not his fault. It's not only his fault.
No, but somebody made the ridiculous comment of saying, "Oh, the WWE has been working on phasing their fans out." What? What the fuck?
You can't. Frank's going off now. Okay.
No, seriously, what the hell? No, and it's just not him because he probably heard it somewhere else.
How do you
phasing the fans out?
You know what? One's giving you money.
Why don't they just film the matches
in an empty arena
and front of a green screen, and they could record boos and cheers and.
Frank, I'm predicting that within the next 6 months to a year, they're going to completely manipulate the sound on their show.
They have been doing it.
No, but they're going to do it completely.
Not only that, if you notice. When people say, "Oh, well," in the beginning they boo Roman Reigns, but at the end they cheer. No, they don't. They just use chopped up footage of fans cheering from other matches, and they show it. I noticed that. They did it at the last pay-per-view. If you notice, if you go back to,
they blur out the signs that are against him.
Yeah, and if you go back to was Payback after Roman Reigns wins. Look at the footage. They chop up footage and show different clips of fans cheering. There's no fans cheering. Everybody's booing.
It's bad, Frank. They're that desperate. That desperate. But let's stick.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of naive fans who think, they're cheering.
It's a shame. Now let's get to the topic at hand. The guys that have been booked badly, and I'm going to start with a guy that I can't stand, CM Punk. Now, I'm sure right off the top of your head, you're going to say, how is CM Punk booked bad? He was the champion for 434 days. Allow me to explain. CM Punk, in the summer of 2011, was the hottest commodity that the WWE had. There is no question about it. And yet, he was outselling John Cena in merchandise. He was the hottest guy in the company, hottest guy in the business. And he lost to Del Rio. He lost to Triple H. He lost to Del Rio in the Cell. He lost to The Miz and R-Truth.
Booked in the mid-card, in the main event, the mid-card.
Then he wins the WWE title and barely, if at all, is the main focus.
He's in the mid-card. In the mid-card.
I do not see a problem with that. I would like for someone to explain to me why John Cena versus John Laurinaitis is a much bigger deal than CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship.
Why? Because they're insecure and probably have a gut feeling that the fans will forget about John Cena if they don't put him in the main event.
But if he's such a big star, why would they worry about him being forgotten?
Because he's not such a big star.
Thank you. Anyways, you're going to find that John Cena is a reoccurring figure in most of these things because they've done everything in their power to try to keep him relevant, number one. And number two, they've done everything they could to make sure nobody else is on par
with him.
Now,
just hold on. Now, some Cena fans will say, "Oh, how could you say he's not the biggest star? He's the biggest star in wrestling." He's booked as the biggest star in wrestling. Just like they're booking Roman Reigns now as the biggest star in wrestling. Only now the fans have wised up and have been through this, and are saying, "No way, Jose, we're not
They
going
don't
through
want
this
it again. They don't.
We're not-
That's the whole reason Roman's get. But we'll get to Roman later.
Yeah.
So CM Punk, not only did he get put in the mid card as the world champion, and this wasn't the big gold belt that was made to look like shit. This was the WWE Championship, and it was in the middle of the card under guys like John Laurinaitis and The Big Show. Give me a break. There was no excuse for that. Then you take a guy like CM Punk, you make him lose to Triple H, you make him lose to The Rock, you make him lose to The Undertaker, you make him lose to Brock Lesnar. Did any of those losses do CM Punk any favors?
No. Well,
other than, listen, and I don't care if it sounds biased, when you're fighting against the streak, you should not win, no matter who it is. However, when you tack on the fact that Punk lost all those other matches, it just makes it seem like he's not allowed to be past a certain level.
Listen, it was okay when he dropped the title to The Rock at Royal Rumble. What was not okay was when he lost that #1 contender match to Cena on Raw. And everybody will say, "Oh, that was one of the greatest Raw matches." But if you look back on it,
a match with a bad finish is not a great match.
If you look back on it, that was the end of the CM Punk run.
Yes, it was.
And then all those matches and losses you just said, that was just to scale him back down and bring him back to obscurity. That's all it was.
They did everything in their power to make sure that he didn't get past a certain level I can tell you, and the reason I can say that is because they were in full control of the finishes. This is not mixed martial arts. This is not boxing. This is not the UFC. The WWE organization, in case you are unaware, is fixed. They can decide who wins and loses every match.
No, they do decide who wins and loses.
No, that's what I'm saying. They decide who goes over. So it's not like they couldn't have CM Punk win a couple of those matches, because you're going to sit there and tell me that Brock Lesnar needed to beat CM Punk, that The Rock needed to beat CM Punk, Triple H needed to beat CM Punk.
Listen, see your matches.
I say The Undertaker shouldn't have even wrestled him. It should have been The Rock, Cena, and CM Punk in a three-way for the title. Right. Or, at the very least, it should have been Cena versus Punk for the title in the main event. Because, let's be honest, Frank, as much as we may not like Cena, his matches with CM Punk were off the charts.
Yeah, not because of him.
Okay, fine. It wasn't. CM Punk was the one making those matches good because.
No, I don't know, but
he was. Let's be honest.
It's no coincidence that Cena has always great matches, and then you'll say, "Oh, well, Cena has great matches too." Why? Because
he kicks out of everything, and he allows his opponent to kick out of everything until he finally says, "Okay, time for me to win."
And he's always given 20 minutes.
Give Cesaro 20 minutes in a match, and give Cena 20 minutes in a match. Whose match do you think will be better?
Right. And why is it important to give a match 20 minutes? Because it allows
a chance to build in it, and you can expound on, and you can tell a story. Can't tell a story in 5-10 minutes.
And it allows the talented opponents to do his stuff, to get his stuff in.
Exactly. Now we've gone through CM Punk. Now let's get to Daniel Bryan, the poor son of a bitch that, if you really stop and think about it, the Daniel Bryan situation was really what separated all the NWO and the OWN pages completely. Because on one side, you had the guys like us, like Steve, even Durst at the time, was all saying that all this shit that's going on with Bryan is stupid. They're making him look bad. They're not booking him right. And then on the other side, I'm not going to name names. You know who you are.
Like anybody's watching.
So, trust me.
I know who it is. I know who it is.
Comment section for.
I know who it is. I know.
One or two of them are watching. You know who you are. You were making it seem like, oh, Bryan's going to get built up just to get beat up and then win at WrestleMania. Guess what? It has come out that if the fans didn't, as you put, bitch and moan, and CM Punk didn't walk, Bryan was supposed to be wrestling Sheamus. This is from the mouth of CM Punk, the mouth of Triple H, the mouth of Daniel Bryan himself.
And that's probably the straw that really broke the camel's back with Punk. He's saying Daniel Bryan is immensely popular and over, and he can't get a main event match. What the fuck am I staying around here for? I'm never gonna get a match.
Exactly. See, and his exact words were, because I've listened to his shoot many times. I have no shame in saying it, because it pretty much verified all the shit that you and I have been saying for years since our first show, which was after Royal Rumble 2014, if you remember. His exact words, "It boggles my mind how Daniel Bryan isn't figured into your plans for WrestleMania. He is white fucking hot." It's just think, if he didn't get hurt, it was going to be him getting fed to Brock in that squash, which I'm sure the true marks would have enjoyed.
Yeah.
And when I say the true marks, I mean the ones that still suck on the teat of Vince McMahon, the ones that enjoy seeing the fans being disappointed, that enjoy seeing the fans get it stuck to them, that enjoy seeing the audience not get what they deserve, what they paid their money to get. That shit pisses me off. Now, Bryan, we could expound on for hours for all the shit, the matches that he put on, the connection he had with the audience, that you don't think that Roman Reigns wishes he could get half of the cheers that Bryan used to get. And the best part about it is, Bryan wasn't even trying. No. He was just being himself.
Yeah.
And that's how it fucking happens. Joe, if you're listening, listen to me. Please. We all like you. But the fact of the matter is, you keep defending these guys for what they're doing with Reigns simply based on the fact that you like him. I like him. Frank likes him. But we also recognize that the way they're booking him is what's fucking him up. Don't force it on people.
Right. What they're telling you is, this is going to be the guy, your hero, that you're going to root for every day for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. He's going to win every match, and he's the hero. He's going to do the Make-A-Wish. I'm sure Roman eventually will do the tribute to the troops.
Oh, God almighty. And that's
no.
And if anything, it makes the fans despise him even more, because you're forcing it on people. Human friggin' nature. You don't tell people who to like. No one had to tell any of us to like Daniel Bryan. His performance did that on his own. Now Daniel Bryan's done in terms of that. Now let's get to Dolph Ziggler. Holy fucking shit. There was a time where that guy was one of the most popular guys that company had to offer. And then what did they do? Every single step of the way, they fucking squandered it. He cashes in Money in the Bank the night after WrestleMania 29, gets one of the biggest pops ever, gets kicked in the head by Jack Swagger through no fault of his own. And then after that, it was like it was his fault.
Well,
Jack Swagger kicked him in his fucking head.
I'm sure politics were played on him too.
But that doesn't make any sense.
And now, if you read today, there was an article saying that the real reason why he was never pushed is because that he parties too much and he gets a lot of girls. I wonder whose girl he got in the past.
I'll tell you who he was fucking in the past.
Yeah. And
it said Nikki Bella.
Yeah, it said that Vince was jealous of that he gets so much ass from, and it was reported that Ric Flair was furious upon learning this, that he never got pushed because of his partying ways. Because who partied more than Ric Flair?
Ric Flair's exact words: "I lived my life like Joe Namath."
Yeah.
But Ric Flair was pushed to the moon, 16-time world champion, Nature Boy. This guy. So basically, what you're telling me now. Listen, everyone knows. In case you don't know, I love The Undertaker. You know what his biggest vice was? Alcohol and women.
So what?
Undertaker. But the point I'm trying to make is, how is it okay for some but not okay for others?
Because I'm sure, like I said, politics are being played.
You can't have different sets of rules.
No, it's not politics. John Cena, he was doing Make-A-Wishes that day, so he can't play politics. He's a real good guy, James.
Yeah, of course. Big Match John. They call him champ, even though he hasn't been the world champion since SummerSlam of 2014. But don't worry, number 16's coming real soon.
Oh, it's gonna be
That
coming.
abomination. And wait, let me tell you something. You want to see a fucking eruption? Oh. But Dolph Ziggler, and then I look at Survivor Series of 2014. Sting debuts. Dolph Ziggler gets the win. He basically beats the Authority single-handedly.
Oh well, I got news for you. That was supposed to be Roman Reigns.
Of course, that was supposed to be, but it wasn't. It was Dolph Ziggler,
But it was.
and he won the match.
It was scripted already.
Do you realize? If you think about it, they could have had Sting versus Triple H at the Rumble. Dolph Ziggler screws Triple H, losing against Sting. Dolph Ziggler then fights Triple H, who he got out of power by winning the match. And they could have did Taker and Sting.
You're dreaming. Just forget about it. That's.
But I'm just saying, do you realize they could
have done a million things.
Took that guy with the momentum he had.
Oh, then they fired him.
Want to do anything with him?
They fired him after that Survivor Series. They fired all three people. Remember?
Yeah, and
kayfabe.
Absolutely nothing.
That was storyline, but still, it was just a way.
Of course. And then you look at him in the Royal Rumble. He was in there for 2 minutes. He gets punched in the head by the Big Show, and him and Kane threw him out like he was garbage.
Listen, not you, but to all these people, all these fans who always defend. Don't you see the pattern? As soon as somebody starts getting popular, the rug gets pulled out from under their feet, and they start losing, and they get pushed back because they're not allowed to get popular because they have so much money and TV time invested in John Cena and now Roman Reigns. You can't allow somebody to get more popular than the guy you're investing all. I'm cashing in all my chips on 3 Black. You can't have people put their chips.
But in that type of business, it doesn't make any sense. Why should you only have one guy making you millions when you could have 4, 5, or 6 making you billions?
Because they figure that the fans' attention span, they can't follow all these storylines. It's just focus on one.
Their attention span, they can't even keep one story going for over a month.
No, but I'll tell you what they can do. They could spin it. They could spin the reason why their ratings are going down. They could spin the reason why their main man is booed. They could give you 1,000 excuses. But if only they could put that much energy in their creative and their storylines, maybe the fucking the product would be better.
Yeah, well,
they're not a wrestling company. They're not an entertainment company. They're a PR company. That's what they do best. Manage bad publicity, spin things, and market and promotion. That's a public relations company. That's all the WWE is. They don't entertain. They don't give the fans what they want. Their wrestling is limited. They don't allow their performers to wrestle anymore. So that's what they are. They're a public relations company. Am I right or wrong?
100% right, Frank. And now let's get to the Ryback. Yes, he's on this list. Frank, I need to just step out for a second, for not even 30 seconds.
Okay.
Please explain to our audience just how popular Ryback was in 2012. Please expound on this.
Okay. Well, when Ryback first appeared, he was repackaged from the Nexus. When he first appeared as Skip Sheffield from the Nexus, now he's repackaged, and now he looks like a poor imitation of Goldberg, and to this day he still gets Goldberg taunts from the crowd. But anyway, they built him as this unstoppable monster, a wrecking machine, similar to Goldberg, and he actually had his taunt caught on. Feed me more. The people were behind this guy. They wanted this guy to win because he caught that momentum, but he was very limited in the ring. He was very green, but he still, he pulled it off, even though he was green. But for whatever reason, again, maybe politics was being played, they turned him heel. I wonder who it is. You notice the pattern. Every time somebody gets popular, they get scaled back.
And who
What?
did Ryback turn heel on and get beat by?
Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
Mr. Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Ryback, when he revitalized himself in 2014.
Sorry, what other popular guy that was the most popular guy turned heel for that didn't make sense? Who was that? Was that CM Punk?
Yep.
The most title run? Why would the most popular performer champion? They just released a DVD about him turn heel. What does that make sense?
Because he was getting too popular.
Yeah, and who's he taking the spotlight away from?
Cena.
Of course,
Because we can't have that.
he's outselling him.
Now think about this. Ryback in 2014, the end of 2014, was over again, despite everything that was done to him. And when him and Rusev got in the ring together, there was a buzz.
Yeah.
But did they use Ryback to take down Rusev and make a new star with the U.S. title? No. Now we'll go to Rusev. The guy was undefeated. He was beating everyone in his path, one after the other, building credibility to that U.S. title.
Well, you notice how easy it is to book people to become monsters and popular. You notice how it is, but then what do? They pull the plug.
And who did Rusev end up losing 4 straight matches to, Frank?
Oh, I don't know, James. It's conspiracy theory.
I'm not making any conspiracy theories. I'm asking you, historical fact. Who did Rusev lose 4 matches in a row to?
Listen, when these guys face Cena, it's a privilege. Don't you understand? Just to be in the ring with Cena, it's a privilege.
He's not Ric Flair. Ric Flair got in the ring with guys that never, ever deserved to be in the ring with him. But Flair went out of his way to make those guys look good.
And they got better after.
Yes. You want to talk about guys that look like kings when they were in the ring with Flair? You look at the Roddy Pipers. You look at the Stings. You look at the Ricky Steamboats, the Barry Windhams. Ric Flair would get in the ring and wrestle Rufus Jones for an hour, for Christ's fucking sake.
And then afterwards, that performer's status would increase, and they became a star. Not the other way around.
I'm not saying that Rusev was going to be fucking Steve Austin, but Jesus Christ, the guy was credible. He loses 4 matches in a row, and then the month after that, he's in a love triangle with fucking Lana and Ziggler.
Giving her a headless fish on TV.
Give me a break. Now, this one I'm going to really enjoy. Let's get to Dean Ambrose. Another guy that was out selling Cena and merchandise with his fucking hoodie. What's the first thing they did? They made him stop wearing the hoodie to the ring. Why?
Yeah, it's not him that's getting over. It's the hoodie that's getting over.
Oh, for fuck's sake. To me, it is so astounding, Frank, that Dean Ambrose, I don't care what anyone wants to say, the most popular guy out of the Shield, out of all 3 guys, not the most skilled.
Who was the most popular performer going into WrestleMania 32?
Dean Ambrose.
And what happened to him?
I'll get to that. Dean Ambrose was a guy that now you look at the different reactions. When it appeared Dean Ambrose won the WWE title from Seth Rollins, the place erupted. You think that's by fucking coincidence? No, the fans fucking like him. And then what did they do?
Good.
They made him lose 1 match after the other. 1 match after the other. Then in 2015, gets even fucking worse. They make him lose to Roman Reigns. Then he wins the IC title, only to lose it back to fucking Kevin Owens. So they're playing hot potato with the Intercontinental title. He then loses to Triple H. And then, to what Frank was going to discuss, he gets squashed by Brock Lesnar. I can't think of another word. Brock beat him up for 12 minutes and then pinned him.
That was on purpose. Well, listen, if you have a matchup where it doesn't benefit either person, you don't do it.
Thank you. Because that match with that finish benefited nobody. It didn't make Brock look like more of a monster.
Brock went home the next day.
Made him look stupid for going along with that because they could have made a new star.
No. Dean Ambrose shouldn't have beat Brock Lesnar. How was he booked leading up to it? He loses every pay-per-view. He loses every match on TV.
Then it should have been Dean Ambrose versus Triple H for the title.
He should have been. I kept screaming until I'm blue in the face. He should have been in that three-way match in the main event. Would have kept the booze off. Would have made it more exciting.
That's them wanting to do things their way, trying to stick it to the audience, and they only end up sticking it up their own asses.
Pulling the plug.
I mean, think about this. At some point in time, you want to do a three-way match with the Shield. Okay? At some point in time, you want to do a three-way match with the Shield. How are you supposed to make that match exciting when Dean Ambrose has zero credibility? Roman Reigns is pretty universally hated by a majority, not hated. And the spin on it is it's a vocal minority.
Yeah, okay. He's not hated, he's rejected. Because people do like him, but he's rejected.
And
those boos aren't hate. It's rejection.
Thank you. That's actually Frank, that's actually a perfect way to describe it. It's not hatred. It is rejection.
Yeah. That's what I think. It's rejection. Because we know how the story ends. Every pay-per-view, every match, just like we saw at Payback, AJ Styles, and Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson threw everything but the kitchen sink at Roman Reigns.
And the same thing's going to happen on Sunday, and I won't be watching.
Hey, whatever.
And now let's get to Seth Rollins now. And I don't want to hear another word about him. Oh, he was the WWE champion. And name a single match he was in, aside from the ladder match with Dean Ambrose, where it appeared that Seth Rollins could get the job done on his own. Not one.
He actually held his own. I think he was the star of the three-way match with him, Cena, and Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble.
He was the star, but never at any point in time did you believe that Seth Rollins could get the job done on his own.
No, because he was booked as a chicken shit champion.
The chicken shit heel doesn't work anymore. Because if anything, it makes the crowd feel sorry for him. Because they know he's being booked to be lesser than two guys that have already had their time.
Yeah, that's for the smart fans, and for those naive fans who always want the winner, like Cena and Reigns. They won't support a guy like Rollins who loses all the time because they want to win. They want to win all the time.
This. Seth Rollins, as the WWE champion, got beat clean 4 times by John Cena.
On TV, and 3 of them were on TV.
Think about that. Your WWE champion, I'll use the Michael Cole version, your WWE champion got beat 4 fucking times.
Pinned and submission.
And submitted. Why?
Because they are afraid that everybody's going to forget about John Cena.
If the guy's so fucking great, you shouldn't have to worry about that.
He's not.
Undertaker wasn't the main focus for years. Ain't nobody ever fucking forgot about him.
Because, again, he's not that great.
No, and now let's get to Roman Reigns. The epitome of bad booking. You know, you would think that the WWE, knowing that they wanted this guy to be at a certain level in terms of fan favoritism, knowing that they wanted him to be, you know, at least moderately liked by the audience and not just get flat out rejected the way he has been. You know, and this is another thing. I need to bring this up. The fans are not booing Reigns because of Daniel Bryan. The 2015 Royal Rumble is not the reason the guy's getting the heat he's getting. So if you're still blaming it on that, stop being an idiot. Please stop being an idiot. This has nothing to do with the Royal Rumble of 2015. You know what it has to do with? 10 fucking years of having John Cena pounded up our asses and down our throats, up our asses, down our throats for 10 fucking years, and the fans don't want it again.
And let's go back to the beginning. When the Shield debuted, All three guys, it was apparent they were going to be future stars. They were going to lead the company. They were all cool. How cool were they? How cool was the Shield? Every guy.
I'll tell you how cool they were. The best faction since the NWO.
Yeah. And in mid 2013, already there was the rumors swirling online on the internet, that the evil internet. It created the rumor that Roman Reigns had the look. He was going to be the next Golden Boy. So starting from mid 2013, you already saw the little hints that Roman Reigns was going to be the successor to John Cena. Think about that. They like.
Fair enough. Did it not come true?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And think about it. They liked Roman Reigns. When I say they, I mean the people running the E. They liked him so much that they scaled back John Cena and gave Roman Reigns a spot. Think about that. Think about how much they like him. They like him even more than John Cena. So think of their plans for Roman Reigns if it wasn't for the fans rejecting him. They would have booked this guy as champion for 3 years.
He'll be the one to break CM Punk's record. You watch.
Nah, I don't know. I think they're gonna pull the plug on it soon.
They're not pulling the plug on Reigns. And what I want to end with the Roman Reigns discussion is this. If you're a fan of Roman Reigns like I am, because I've liked him since he was Leaki down in FCW. I don't know, Frank, I don't know how long you've been watching the guy. I don't know if you like him or not.
I've seen clips of him in NXT.
I have liked him since he was down in Florida in FCW. If you're a fan of this guy, like I am, it should piss you off how badly the WWE has fucked this guy up. And the reason they fucked him up is because in their minds, we're going to do what we want, and if you don't like it, too fucking bad. But then in the same breath, they want people to feel sorry for them because we're not going along. So, Joe, I want you to understand something. Nick, Durst, I want you to understand something. Jameis, I want you guys to understand something. They want to tell the fans, fuck you, we're going to do what we want, but then at the same time, when they boo him in rejection, just like Frank said, it's not hatred, it's rejection, they want you to feel sorry for them. Why the fuck should you feel sorry for them when they're giving us the finger every week?
And listen, they don't even have to scale back Roman Reigns. The rejection is that he's being booked in the hero role, like Cena.
They don't want another, and that is the ultimate point. The fans have had 10 years of John, whether you like John Cena, respect him or not. The fact of the matter is the majority of professional wrestling fans don't want to be told who to like.
Look, and we already saw a couple weeks ago, he did a Make-A-Wish on TV.
And you don't think for a second that pissed people fucking off?
Yeah.
Because you know what that is? When they make him walk out to the ring for a match and he's getting booed viciously and he walks over to a Make-A-Wish kid, you know what that is? That's
exploitation.
How could you hate this guy? He's with the kids.
It's exploitation and manipulation.
Thank you.
It's manipulation. It's exploitation.
Speaking as a guy that works with sick kids, here's my fucking badge from the hospital. Speaking as a guy that works with sick kids all the time, that pisses me off. It's the lowest you could fucking go, and I lost a lot of respect for him for going along with that shit.
He has to. What's his
He
job?
don't have to do anything.
Well, then he likes making.
You only have to do two things: die and pay taxes. Everything else you choose to do. And he's got a daughter. He should fucking know better.
Listen,
he don't have no kids. So
millions
of respect. And that's why another reason I fucking despise that cocksucker. He has no kids, so I don't expect him to understand what it means. I have a godson. If anyone ever tried to exploit him, I'd kick them in their balls.
Well, listen, they're not exploiting the kid. They're not exploiting the kid. They're exploiting the angle, the situation. They're benefiting from it. So it's... We'll use this.
When you got to sink to levels like that, you're sinking to the depths of humanity.
That's exploitation. No, it's what they do best: marketing, promotion, public relations. So that's exploitation.
Using philanthropy to get people over,
and then
real great. Let me tell you something. because I got to go off on this. Did Stone Cold Steve Austin ever have to walk out with a sick kid to get pops?
No.
Did The Rock ever have to come out and sit with a sick kid to get pops?
No.
How about The Undertaker?
No.
How about the Macho Man? How
No.
about Mick Foley? None of those guys ever had to do that.
Hulk Hogan would do those things.
Hogan would play to the crowd, but guess what? No one had a problem with it because everybody fucking liked him. And as much as Thomas James hates this word, this term, but it exists, he was universally loved.
Why does he hate that? What does he hate about that?
Because he says there's no such thing as universally over.
Really? He should go back and Google some matches. Well, you know what it is, James?
He idolizes John Cena.
You know what it is? Because a lot of these younger fans who never experienced living through a Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold as a fan in live time,
he's been around. He doesn't think that either one of them can touch Cena.
Oh my God,
that's a problem.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Did you
going to talk to me about baseball? You're going to talk baseball with me, and you're going to tell me you're a Yankees fan. You think that Posada is the best catcher of all time? Excuse me. You're going to sit there and tell me that he's better than what Gary Carter was?
Let me ask you a question.
Get the fuck out of here. You're going to sit there and tell me. You're going to sit there and tell me that any of these fucking pitchers right now are better than Nolan Ryan or Jesus Christ. What's that guy that my father was talking about earlier today that they said he was a killer when he used to pitch? When I remember his name, I'm going to flip out, Frank. I'll probably remember it by the time we're off air.
Who did he play for?
I'm trying to remember what team he played for. Son of a bitch. No, Sandy Koufax.
Sandy Koufax. For 6 years, that guy was the greatest pitcher of all time.
You're going to sit there and tell me any of the pitchers today. Listen, Frank and I are diehard Mets fans. We wish we had a guy like Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, I'm a Mets fan, and I'll tell you, the 4 Mets pitchers right now, they're not as good as. Don't even compare them to those.
What about Nolan Ryan?
Yeah, Tom Seaver.
Thank you, Mr. Tom Seaver. Jesus Christ! Let me tell you something. The pitches we had in '86 were good, Frank. We had some good pitches.
Even those guys weren't Tom
Seaver. But the fact of the matter is, you're going to sit there and tell me that Cena is better than Hulk Hogan, better than The Rock, better than Stone Cold. And you know what their argument is, Frank? What? Last year, there was their most profitable year. Okay, let me ask you.
No, not profitable. Not profitable. They made the most money. It's not profit. They took in revenue. Revenue does not equal profit. Now, and times have changed now because back then they didn't have in Hulk Hogan's era.
That's always been my thing. Are they making the bulk of the money off of the main product? I don't think so.
During Hulk Hogan's time, because of him, because of him, they wrote us back to creating WrestleMania, to creating SummerSlam, to creating a pay-per-view every month.
Saturday Night Main Event.
Saturday Night's Main Event. That used to be a pay-per-view. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, 33 million viewers. 33 million.
They can't even get 4 million to watch every week.
They can't get 33 million in 6 months on watching to watch Raw. It's the truth, right? What's the average viewership of Raw every week? 3 million?
3, maybe 2.5.
So do the math. That would be. It would take over 3 months of combined viewerships from Raw for that one Saturday Night's Main Event. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
Hogan and Andre the Giant drew 33
on TV.
It wasn't even a pay-per-view.
On a Saturday night. Oh, I guess the ratings counted back then, right? Oh, that's because there was no internet back then.
Yeah, well, listen, like I said, if you're a fan of Roman Reigns like I am and you're pissed off that the reception he's getting, you should be blaming the WWE, not the audience.
And getting back to the point, you don't have to take the belt off of Reigns or scale him back. Just turn the motherfucker heel. That's what they're so stubborn about. They are so hell-bent on doing this hero thing. And it's because they do sell it to the charities and to the face. Make him a heel. Think of all the exciting matchups that'll open up. Think of it.
There's plenty of guys that Reigns could work with as a heel.
You could build up Cesaro.
There's not that many matchups for him as a babyface. There really isn't.
You could build up Cesaro. You could build up Cena to face him. You could build up AJ Styles. You could build up the guys down in NXT.
Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, both of them at once.
Yeah.
I've been saying I would keep the belt on Reigns until WrestleMania next year, but I would turn him heel.
Yeah,
and he loses the title in a Shield three-way in the main event of WrestleMania.
Whatever it is.
So think about it, Frank. If they actually did that, they would still have Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania.
He could still be strong.
I mean, really. I just don't, because you want to know what it is, Frank? Let's actually call it for what it is. They would much rather make less money doing things their way than making more money doing things our way.
Right. And all the fans are asking is, we just don't like the role he's casting.
Don't insult our intelligence.
Who's the actor that plays Superman right now?
Henry Cavill.
Would he be a good Joker?
I don't think so.
I don't know. So what if the studio kept insisting on and putting makeup on him and him playing the Joker?
Well, see, that's the thing. We've never seen him casted in that role before.
I'm just saying. You get my point?
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand.
But he makes a great Superman, right?
He actually really is. I never liked the Superman character until I saw him.
I'm just saying.
Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of respect for the past guys that have put on the cape, but I just never really liked the Superman character because I always felt the Superman character made the entire Justice League irrelevant. But I actually like this portrayal.
Robert Downey Jr. Perfect for Iron Man.
For Iron Man. Oh, listen, I've been watching. I was on vacation for the last week, Frank. I watched non-stop Avengers. Matter of fact, here, Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. was perfect.
Okay.
Iron Man. I'll throw another one at you. See this guy here? Jesus Christ, Chris Hemsworth, perfect for Thor.
Who's the studio that makes the Avengers? Sony?
Yeah. And get another one. Chris Evans. Perfect.
Okay. What if Sony Studios insisted on putting Robert Downey Jr. as Captain America?
Wouldn't work.
And what if
it's not Sony, it's Marvel.
Oh, what if Marvel insisted on putting Chris Evans as Tony Stark?
Wouldn't work.
And what would happen? Nobody, the movies wouldn't make that much money. The people would be outraged, and Marvel would say, "Well, you should just watch. There's other characters.
No, see, that's the thing.
There's other Avengers to watch.
The movie industry doesn't behave like that.
There's James. There's so many other Marvel characters. Why are you so focused on Iron Man and Captain America?
Let me tell you something. Batman vs Superman got a lot of negative reviews. You think a single one of those fucking actors came out and badmouthed the audience? No. You know what Henry Cavill said? You gotta go with what your fans are saying. It's that simple. His words.
Well, also in the wrestling business, you can't always have the fans leading the.
No, I'm not. I never once have said that the fans should be on the booking committee.
No, you can't do that. But
there is a point in time where you have to turn around and say, okay, listen, this shit ain't fucking working. Think about this. Without the audience, you don't get the NWO. You don't get Stone Cold Steve Austin. You don't get The Rock. You don't get Mick Foley becoming the character that he did for the long haul. A lot of the things that we enjoyed, Frank, was because of the audience.
Right. What you can do is you can adjust on the fly. Okay. We're going with Roman Reigns as the top guy, as the champion, but we have to adjust. It's not working. He's not working as the hero role. The guy can't talk on the mic. No, I'm serious. He just can't. It's not his fault. Not everybody can. So why are you pushing his weaknesses? Why don't you push his strengths? What's his strengths? He's very good when he's cocky. Oh, take it easy. He's very good when he's in his cocky role. He's good as a heel. That's what it is. Some people are just different.
No, that's just the way they are, Frank.
And here, there's one last thing. There's an article all about this rumor of Vince McMahon giving up on Roman Reigns' push. It was from Wrestling Rumors. That's the site. And it actually says that apparently it's the game is still pushing to make Roman look as strong as possible. A lot of that is probably because if WWE gives up on Roman now, it's going to be very difficult to get him back to the top based on the fans' reactions. However, Vince McMahon could potentially be backing off for Reigns. So now this article, according to this article, it's Triple H who's stubborn. Maybe because that was his pick all along, going back from NXT. Who knows?
I would be very shocked.
Well, I wouldn't.
With the way that guy books NXT, Frank, I just find it very difficult to believe.
Okay, but he's not. He can't. Nobody's always right. Sometimes you pick him. Sometimes you pick him wrong. Triple H in promos, he said it. Sometimes I see that guy, and I say, he's not very good, and he turns out to be Cena. Sometimes I say, that guy's really good, and he doesn't turn out to be anything. You can't always be right. Sometimes, you can't
Tell it
predict.
to Vince.
He'll tell you too. Sometimes, you have your heart broken. He said it too. Sometimes you get your heart broken. You want to push a guy, but you get your heart broken because he doesn't pan out the way you pictured him. And right now, Roman Reigns is not panning out the way they pictured him. He does not fit into the hero mold. That's it.
But does that say that he's a bad talent? No.
No.
None of us here have said that he's bad in the ring. The guy's actually very good for a big man.
What people, again, how many times do you hear this? Pushing the square peg into the round hole. Do people understand what that means?
No, most people don't, Frank.
You're putting an object that cannot fit into a space, and you keep pushing it, and you turn it, and you turn it upside down, and every day you keep trying to fit it in, but it's never going to work.
Frank, you just put it perfectly. And now that we've talked about Roman Reigns, the last name I want to talk about, the Wyatts.
Doo-doo.
You want to talk about a bunch of guys that had all the fucking momentum in the world, had all the fucking, the whole world in their hands, pun intended.
Just as cool as the Shield.
Yes. And the proof of that is when those two teams would get in the ring and look at each other, the place would fucking go nuts. And they did that a couple times before they actually fought.
Magic.
Absolutely, it was magic. And what I loved about, to me, they had the match of the year in 2014. As much as I love Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, as much as I love Bryan winning the belt, and as much as I love seeing Brock Lesnar fucking annihilate John Cena, the Shield versus the Wyatt family was the greatest match of 2014.
I mentioned them as one of the greatest feuds in recent history.
My goodness. They and anyone that hasn't seen the video that Frank did on his own, I watched them previously. A very good episode, Frank. My hat's off to you if I had one on.
Thank you.
I personally like when it's the both of us, but you did really good. You did really good. No, but the Wyatts and the Shield had such great match. Now think about this, Frank. Bray Wyatt destroyed Kane in his debut in an Inferno match, no less. Kane's signature match. He then feuds with the most popular guy in the company, in Daniel Bryan, and beats him 100% clean.
During the height of Daniel Bryan's popularity.
Yes. Then him and his family go to Elimination Chamber and have one of the greatest matches of all time with the Shield, and he pins Roman Reigns 100% clean. And
the last and only guy to pin Roman Reigns.
And what did they do with the Wyatts right after that?
Get ready. Pull the plug.
They made Bray Wyatt look like a joke.
All he did was cut long, boring, rambling promos. Never wrestled. Booked to be a chicken shit. He would only make he would throw his family members to the alligators and then run away. And then lose. Whenever he did wrestle. And who was the big superstar that he had the pleasure of sharing the ring with, James?
Who do you think it was?
I don't know. That guy again.
Yep. You notice how this guy keeps coming up. I'm not making any of this shit up. You can go on the network yourself and look up all the times, all this shit yourself.
Yeah, you notice the pattern? And what happens?
And what happened to Bray Wyatt afterwards? He was never the fucking same.
Not only that, on an episode of Raw, John Cena gives the attitude adjustment to not one, but all three Wyatt members, and literally just threw them out of the ring like they were pieces of shits.
And that was after Brock Lesnar gave John Cena the beating of a lifetime,
right,
because Vince McMahon panicked that John Cena actually looked vulnerable. Oh,
why?
My God.
Why?
Oh, my God, Frank. A hero that actually looks vulnerable and needs to overcome something.
Why? Because they were afraid that people might forget him and give up on him. Yeah, and then I mentioned this before. The nail in Bray Wyatt's coffin was the gauntlet match with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was beat up from the previous night on pay-per-view. Then is thrust into a gauntlet match. Faces 3 opponents in one night. Beat up, and who's the 4th opponent? Bray Wyatt. And what does he do to Bray Wyatt? Beats him in less than 5 minutes, like a piece of shit, and throws him out of the ring.
Oh, but we're not done with how the Wyatts have been treated. Look at what they did with them at WrestleMania this year.
What did they do? Oh, they were the stepping stone for The Rock.
And who else?
John Cena. They wiped the shit off their shoes on the Wyatt family.
Even Stone Cold Steve Austin himself said that served no fucking purpose. I don't care that Dwayne Johnson wanted to work with them. Okay, Dwayne wanted to work with them. How did that benefit the Wyatts at all? It didn't.
It benefited Dwayne.
That this company has done with the Wyatt family, and now I'm getting fucking hot. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was starting to fall fucking asleep, but now I'm awake. Why would you invest all that time into the Wyatts just to do that to them? Why?
Because they serve as the bridesmaid. They're served up. They're jobbers. They're glorified jobbers. Jobbers to the stars. That's they are. The Wyatt family and Bray Wyatt.
Would The Undertaker have been what he was if he lost all his big matches at the beginning?
No, because he wasn't a jobber. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family are glorified jobbers. If you look up the term, a glorified jobber is a jobber to the stars. You job to the big main event stars.
How could they ever hope to make big-time stars out of the guys they have if they never make those guys feel like they're big-time stars?
Because they don't want to.
You can't rely on The Undertaker forever. You can't rely on Brock Lesnar forever. You can't rely on Dwayne Johnson forever.
As long as they're around and they're getting paid big money to appear, they're gonna that's what it is.
It's nonsense. And what has happened with the Wyatts is just disgusting. It likens also to Cesaro. You want to talk about a guy that really, had momentum going? I mean, let's see. The guy won the Battle Royal.
Oh, he's Swiss. He's Swedish. He doesn't connect to the fan.
The guy won the Battle Royal, WrestleMania 30. He was over, very over. Took away the swing, and they paired him with a guy who managed the guy that basically murdered The Undertaker. Real smart. At least now.
Again, another pattern. After WrestleMania, when he won the Under the Giant Battle Royal. Popular. And what happens?
They stuck him with Paul Heyman.
It gets scaled back. Then he starts losing. There was a podcast the other day that said Cesaro's record is 55 wins, 7 ties, and 112 losses in his career in WWE. It's more amazing that somebody actually is keeping count. But think about it, 55 and 112.
And the guy, pound for pound, is probably the strongest guy on that roster.
That's 40-60 booking. No, maybe 35-65 booking. Wins and losses don't matter, James.
Yeah, wins and losses don't matter unless
How many times has Roman Reigns lost?
Clean once.
Once. How many times has he won? Probably, 100 times?
99% of his matches are clean.
How many times has John Cena lost in the last 12 years?
Well, let me actually think about that. Let's see.
Well,
it's 2016, right?
Well, he lost the belt 15 times, right?
Yeah, but not all those losses of the.
I'm talking about over, and this is not in 3 years. This is over 12 years.
Yes.
But wins and losses don't count.
Yeah, wins and losses don't count unless your name is John Cena or Roman Reigns. Then they do matter because we have to make sure you're credible because you're our pick. Fuck everybody else.
Do you know actually what that idiot Road Dogg said?
Yeah, that pissed me off.
No, do you know why he said that? He said that about Dean Ambrose because he said he was actually trying to give him a compliment. He said wins and losses don't matter with him because he's bulletproof. Like
he's not bulletproof.
Nobody is bulletproof. No, they are, but if you keep making them lose without making them win a big match, the fans are going to give up on them. Scott Hall, he always says in shoot interviews, he didn't care about losing because he was bulletproof. But eventually he would lose, but then win a big match. Lose, then win a big match. You can't have people losing 65% of their matches on TV.
And losing all the big matches.
And on TV. Anyway.
It's retarded, Frank. It really is. And then now to finish the show, it's only appropriate we finish the show. Just what about this poor fucking Damien Sandow?
I'm going to throw up the X.
I want to know whose bag did he shit in?
John Cena's bag.
No, John Cena takes a shit every time he comes out and tries to wrestle, and he looks like shit with those lousy punches of his.
He's getting
and his spot calling.
He was another guy. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
You could hear money in the bank.
You could hear him.
One-armed Cena and got his ass kicked.
You could hear John Cena calling spots from your kitchen.
You know something? I think John Cena needs something else in his life.
Oh man, he needs a lightsaber.
He needs to take the dark side of the Force.
Damien Sandow, another guy, got over without the backing of the WWE.
Got over without the backing of the E, and
he could cut a promo, good in the ring, and then who did he run into when he cashed the Money in the Bank?
Oh God!
That guy again, another pattern. And then what happened? They gave him what was supposed to be a punishment, being the Miz's bitch, and he turned that
over than the Miz.
And he became more popular, and they eventually took him off TV for a year.
And then they let him go unceremoniously.
That's how dangerous he was. In their eyes, that's how dangerous he is. This guy, no matter you could give him the worst punishment, and he'll turn horse shit into fucking.
He took chicken shit and made it chicken salad.
Yeah, gourmet chicken salad.
It's a shit.
Not just the deli. Not just the deli
guys. All of these guys that Frank and I just mentioned, all these guys that we just ran through, you could look up for yourself the wins and the losses. They are on record. The storylines and how they play out are on the network, which all of you no doubt have. You could look them up for yourself. Frank and I did not make a single one of these.
And again, they didn't lose because they're not that good. And John Cena and Roman Reigns don't win because they're that good. It's called... Wait, I don't have it. A pen. You see? You have a pen? That's what makes somebody win or lose.
Jim Ross said that the most powerful hold in professional wrestling isn't in the ring.
It's the eraser.
It's the eraser.
Yep. That's all it takes is somebody to erase your name or erase the finish.
To finish this. Because we ran through all the names, and that's a lot of fucking names.
And I'm sure we're missing people.
And I'm sure we're missing a few. Zack Ryder.
Kevin Owens.
Well, Kevin Owens isn't, 6 feet under.
No,
but the guy was way more popular when he first beat Cena, and then, of course, they jobbed him out like a jobber bitch.
No, he's not buried right now. He's in the funeral parlor being waked.
And the funny thing is with Owens, After they made him lose to Cena, what did they do with him the next night? They gave him the fucking jobber treatment in the Lesnar-Taker brawl. They didn't send Roman Reigns or Randy Orton or Cena out there for that, but they sure as fuck sent Kevin Owens out there now, didn't they?
Yep.
Another one got over, was making a ton of money in merchandise.
Still getting over. Still getting over. The guy is so charismatic. He's probably right now he's probably the #1 heel besides the Authority.
Oh, man, you watch that NXT show. Samoa Joe is a great fucking villain.
Well, I'm talking about on TV right now on the main roster. And
Frank, I keep telling you, you got to take the time, 1 hour a week to watch NXT, dude.
No, I know. I just don't want to get my hopes up. I've gone through that.
Don't watch it, dude. This is how I watch NXT. I do not watch NXT with the main roster in mind. I look at the stories presented to me on NXT, and I have a great time. Think about it. I get an hour of pro wrestling. The authority figure is not the star of the show, and the fucking title matters. The tag titles matter. Yes. The women's title, it matters.
Listen, I agree with you. I went through it when ECW was around. Every guy on ECW, all the stars, were innovators, stars, everything you mentioned. And then whenever they got signed to WCW or WWE, they'd be jobbers.
Same thing with Taz. When Taz was brought into the WWE,
look at the pop he got. Look at the pop he got that first night match at Square Garden.
And then they fucking did nothing with him.
The only two talents that came out of ECW that had success was Rob Van Dam and the Dudley Boys.
I agree with you 100%.
Out of the whole company history, that's the only two.
Which is a shame because they had a lot of good talent. But
yeah, but that's why I don't want to watch NXT.
To put a lid on all this, all the guys that Frank and I just talked about and how they were treated and how they were booked, it isn't an opinion that he and I formulated. We simply documented history. We documented exactly what happened. Joe, you've said many times to take things at face value. I just gave you everything at face value. All those stars, all those wrestlers with all that potential down the fucking drain. Their credibility down the fucking drain.
Okay.
How do you excuse that?
And now to Joe.
How do you excuse that?
To Joe and every other fan out there who doesn't see it the way we do you want to see the next 5-6 years of the same thing happening with Roman Reigns? And future stars, Finn Balor, Jason Jordan,
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait until what is that? The 4th of July, Nakamura versus Cena.
No, that show was proven to be false.
Oh yeah, it's not happening. That was a rumor.
It was a rumor that was killed.
Oh, but they was it an internet rumor or?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a fan rumor.
Thank God, because if they would have fucking had Nakamura hit his head on that glass ceiling, I think I would have had an aneurysm.
Yeah, because it would have destroyed his career before it starts. Unless he's going to beat John Cena.
Oh, if fucking Nakamura actually pinned him with the friggin' Bomaye, I'd lose my mind.
Anyway, James, I know you're tired, so.
Well, everything that we just talked about.
But leave that question. If anybody's bothering watching, whatever. Do you want to see for the next 5 years? Yeah. And we're in 2016. Do you want to wake up in 2020 and have the same thing happen with Roman Reigns? Every guy that gets popular gets pushed back.
Is that what you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see someone like fucking Apollo Crews get over and then get the rug pulled out from under him?
And have Roman Reigns
just beat him.
Superman punch him, spear him,
and he's still getting booed. And do you guys want to see friggin' Seth Rollins come back from injury and just get jobbed out like a jobber bitch to Roman Reigns? Is that what you just want to see while Roman's getting booed? Is that what you want to see? You want another 5-10 years of this shit?
And the next night after the next week on SmackDown, they could be in a comedian segment.
Nonsense.
And losing a tag team match.
As far as I'm concerned, I said all I can say. Frank said all he can say.
You
That's how I feel. I'm
have
sick and tired of seeing talent wasted. I am sick to death of all this nonsense.
Hey, and to all those fans who say if you don't like it, don't watch, don't worry, we're not.
Exactly.
Don't worry, we're not. And soon...
You tell us if you don't like it, don't watch.
Don't worry, we're not.
Guess what? The Mets are now in 3rd place. I haven't missed a fucking game. But I guess because I'm pissed off of how they're playing, I shouldn't watch that either, right, Frank?
Yeah, don't watch. Don't even go to the games. And you know what? Don't worry. We won't watch. And pretty soon, people won't even show up to buy tickets anymore. And then people won't even.
Wait a minute, Frank. Hasn't that already started?
Oh, it's gonna start. You'll see it. Anyway.
And the funny thing about it is, and this is how I'm ending the show, the low ratings, the fans not coming to the fucking shows, they have no one to blame but them fucking selves.